Hello everyone, today I'm going to be introducing you guys to 3D modeling. My name is Mr. Lance Mendoza. To start, I'd like to know something about you guys, and that is, what is your favorite Disney or Pixar movie? Mine is probably Coco, but I'd like to hear your opinions. Do you guys know what is something they all have in common? That's right, 3D modeling. And what is 3D modeling? 3D modeling is the process of creating objects using specialized software. 3D modeling is used extensively in VFX, video games, and movies and TV. It isn't all uncommon to see productions that are entirely created using 3D software. So here we have images of a bunch of things that were created using 3D. Who uses 3D modeling? 3D modeling is used by people in the video games, art, animation, architecture, engineering, cartoons, anime, and even movies. So today we are going to be learning Maya. Maya is a professional 3D software for creating realistic characters and blockbuster-worthy effects. Blender is also another good source as it is free and just as good as Maya. So today our agenda is we're going to be downloading Maya, we're going to be opening Maya for the first time, we're going to be saving our work, then we're going to create a new workspace, navigate the workspace, create objects, move objects, scale objects, and finally duplicate objects. So don't worry about understanding what the agenda is, as we're going to go through them. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to download Maya. So on your Google search engine, we're going to type in download Maya 2024. From here, we're going to click on download Maya free trial. And then we're going to download the free trial. And we're going to be using it for education. Okay, so from here on out, we're going to look for Maya specifically, and we're going to get started. You're going to enter your email address, and then your educational institution. Then you're going to verify your educational verification, and you'll have access to Maya for 1 year. Okay, so I opened up Maya. So the first thing that we have here is our big introductory viewport. So on the top left we have new, we have open. So new is used for opening new projects. Open is used for opening previous projects that we are currently working in. You can also set the default project type here. And there are other very helpful Autodesk Maya educational tools that we can use here, such as getting started, learning, what's new, community. But for our case, we're just going to go straight into Maya. So we're going to click on new scene here. Okay, so in this scene, we are introduced to the Maya viewport. So up here, we have the general workspace, as well as the menus. We have subsets of menus here: the curve, surface, poly modeling, sculpting, UV editing, rigging, animation, rendering, virtual effects caching, custom, Arnold, Mesh, motion graphics, XGen. So some of these, there are a lot of options in Maya. But for our purposes, we're going to be focusing on poly modeling. Okay, so let's continue on with the identifying what's on the viewport here. Here we have the 3D modeling viewport. So you can, there are a lot of buttons here you can select, but we're not going to be focusing much on those. Something that is quite noteworthy is having these grid lines. So similar in 3D space, you have grids to allow us to visibly showcase to us that we are working in a 3D space. You can turn it on or off, but we're going to keep it on. Okay, and then we have here the select tool. This will allow us to select objects and components in the scene and editor window. And then we have a couple of very important tools, which is the move selected objects tool, the rotate object tool, which allows us to rotate the selected object by dragging the rotation manipulator. And then we're gonna also be using the scale tool, which allows us to scale the object. Okay, so other very important buttons or other very important things we can utilize is this panel layout. So we can select different viewports. So right now we're in this default panel layout. We can also click on these 4 different views that allow us to see the top view, which is labeled top Z. So that's going to be on the Z axis. We have the perspective viewport, the front Y axis, the side X axis as well. So besides those 4 viewports, we also have these front and perspective viewpoint. So we have the front and perspective as well. There are other viewports here that are important, such as the outliner tool, which allows us to identify what's already in the object or in the scene. So for example, if I was to go back to our perspective mode and click on the cube, what appears is that there is an object in the scene. And the outliner, it shows that there is a cube here. So it's labeled pCube1. Okay, so I'm going to be just hiding this outliner. So the first thing that we're going to do, so just to clarify the viewport a bit more, so on this right hand side, we have the channel box layer editor, which allows us to put values in and translate translate meaning move objects within the 3D space, as well as rotate and scale the 3D object. So if we have that off, if I just select it out of it, so I have it selected, and if I select it out of it, that menu disappears because we don't have an object that is selected. So something that's also quite important are these viewports, but we're gonna move on to them later on. Okay, so we have the modeling tools, the attribute editor. So attributes don't show up unless you have an object selected. So if I have the cube selected, those parameters show up. And there are many parameters. Here you can control the color and everything about the object. Here we have the modeling tools, and these are just tools that are in these edit mesh tools, but they are here specifically because they are the most common used tools in 3D modeling. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the general homepage of Maya first. So again, we're going to click on New Scene just so that we can familiarize how to create a new scene, and we're going to click Don't Save. So now we have the default blank file, and so for this purpose, just so that we are familiar with creating new scenes, there is also another, when you click on File, New Scene, you can create a new scene and have it blank. You couldn't really see that we created a new scene, so let me just create a polygon here. So I just clicked on this polygon cube. This allows us to create a polygonal cube on the grid. So this would be the grid, and this is the cube. So I'm just going to edit, so delete to get rid of it, and then but we're gonna create a new project, so let's just showcase that we can. So I'm gonna click on New Scene, File, New Scene, Don't Save. Okay, so now we have our default 3D space, and then we can click Save Scene here on the desktop. So this file save scene allows us to save the project, and we're just going to click on desktop, and the file type is going to be Maya binary. There are different saving methods, but you don't have to worry about that now. So we're going to click on file name, and we're going to give it a unique name. So for our purpose, we're going to create buildings. Oh, and you can see on the bottom left here, I have these keys. When I type something, it'll tell me, it'll show you what I'm typing, so that for those who have who need assistance with keybinds or what I'm pressing, it can show you guys what is happening. So we're going to click on buildings. Okay, so now we can click on Open Scene and look for that building's MB. So we can open it. We can click New Scene. But when we click Open Scene and click on MB, look what happens on the top left. The building's MB Maya binary file is changes its name from the untitled default, because this is the file that we just saved now. So we're just gonna, let's create another polygon cube, and let's save scene as. Okay. So from there, we're gonna click New Scene. So now it's back to the untitled Autodesk Maya 2024. And we're gonna click on Open Scene, Buildings, MB, and then click Open. And now we have our default buildings.mb. We can go ahead and select the object, and we can just go ahead and delete it. Okay. And just to show you guys how I deleted it, I just clicked on Edit, Delete. You can also delete objects. Let me just create another object by pressing the keyboard shortcut Delete. So here I just have delete. Okay, so next up, we're going to be navigating the workspace. So to navigate the workspace, we can use these points. We can just like go over here to this cube and click on it. So now we have the right view. And if we press the scroll wheel, we can zoom out and scroll in using the zoom wheel on our mouse. Okay, so that's how you zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so to navigate around the viewport, you can press Alt and then hold down the middle mouse button, and you should be able to see this happen. So I'm holding down Alt and holding down the middle mouse button. I'm slightly moving my mouse vertically. Okay, both sides. And if we hold Alt and select, we can rotate around the object. So I'm zooming out again, zooming in, Alt, and left clicking with the mouse. I'm zooming out. So I've just moved it vertically. So I'm holding the middle mouse button and dragging it. Okay, and now I'm pressing Alt to rotate. Okay. Okay. So this is basically how you navigate around the screen. You can also press Alt and right-click, Alt and right-click, and you have to hold right-click, and you can zoom in, zoom out. But the easiest way to zoom in and out is just using the scroll wheel. Okay, I'm just checking the time. Okay, so next up, since now we know how to navigate the workspace, we're going to be creating objects. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new file, new scene. We're going to, don't save this. We're going to go to File, New Scene, and then we're going to add in this polygon plane. This polygon plane creates a polygon plane on the grid. So we have a polygon plane here. I'm just zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, and navigating to the front. So the black side, the dark side, is the back, and then the front side is the lighter side. Okay, so just to select the object, you just have to select the object using the left mouse button. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, as we have created an object on the ground, we're going to use this rotate tool. So this tool will allow us to move the selected object. So you need to have the object selected or this will not work. So we're going to click on the object, and then this gizmo comes up. So the red indicates that it's going to be rotating on the x-axis. So we're going to rotate on the x-axis. Okay, so if you notice here, I'm putting it on a 90-degree angle, but if you notice here, you can see that it's roughly around 90 degrees. If I rotate, if I just click on Edit, Undo Rotate, select the object again, you can see that the rotation x-axis is back to 0. So up here, and then down here, so we're going to rotate the x-axis again, and then it looks like it's at 82 degrees, so, but I'm going to type in, I'm going to select this rotate x and just type in 90. And then you can get a perfectly flat 90-degree angled plane. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the scale tool. We're going to zoom out a bit, and from there we're going to be selecting this yellow axis. So this blue axis. So the blue axis combines both the green and red axis to scale the object uniformly. So I'm just going to be scaling it. Okay, to fit the grid. So this is going to be our floor. And feel free to experiment, so feel free to mess around a bit around the plane. So you can scale it even bigger if you'd like. You can also move it. So this is the Move tool. This allows you to select the object component by dragging the Transform manipulator. So if you click on this green manipulator, it's going to move it on the y-axis. And then red is for the x-axis. And then if you wanted to, and all you have to do is to move it on the x-axis is drag it from the arrows and then drop. And then here you can see that the x-axis is -6. So, and then if I put it here, it has -7. You can also move it through up and down using the blue axis, which is the z-axis. Okay. Okay, so for now I'm going to get rid of all these transformations, and I'm going to put the select, for example, translate x, I'm just going to put 0, translate y, 0, translate z, 0. And rotate z, I'm going to put that also on 0. So that way now we have the default plane. Okay, so at this time, it would be wonderful if everyone can actively participate, aka please, on your own computers, please do what I have done here. So, so we're gonna just to reiterate what we have done so far. We're gonna click on New Scene, and then we're gonna create a plane. And then we're going to zoom in using the scroll wheel. And then we're going to click Alt and left click, drag, and we're going to zoom out. We're going to scale this, or we're going to rotate it first. On the x-axis, 90 degrees. And then we're going to scale it using this blue marker. We're going to scale it up. It's going to be a left click and drag. Okay. And then we're going to save it. So we're going to call this building 1. We can, again, we can open the scene using the open scene, file open scene, and we're going to click on building 1, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create another object, and this time we're going to do a polycube. So we have we just clicked on that. So it's poly modeling, polycube, 8. You can also create a polygon through this menu, create polygon primitive sphere or cube. So in this case, we're gonna click on this object, the cube, and then we're gonna click on the move tool. Again, this object will allow us to move the object up. And then we're just gonna eyeball it so that it looks like it's on top of the plane, the ground plane. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to edit, and we are going to duplicate the object. And we're going to just navigate around a bit. And we're going to scale the object. So we're going to click on the rotate, and then the scale tool. We're going to scale it up. And then we're going to go to the move tool, and we're going to move it up. Okay, I'm just moving it so that it looks like it's next to each other. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this object again, and I'm going to click on Edit, Duplicate. This time I'm going to use these transformation tools here to scale on the z-axis. So currently it's at 1, let's put it at 2, and then let's translate it up. Okay, now we're gonna click on Edit, Duplicate again. Just move it up next to the other building, and we're gonna do that again. I'm gonna Edit, Duplicate. So you might have seen that I'm actually using these control shortcuts. So there's a Control D for duplicate. So I'm gonna be pressing Control D, as you can see in the bottom there, and then just translating it to the right a little bit, and then I'm gonna scale this one visually in the blue axis again. I'm gonna scale it up, and then I'm gonna go on the Move tool and scale it up like that. Okay. And then from there, we're going to be scaling it again. So again, we're gonna Edit, Duplicate, move it to the right, and then we're going to be scaling the object, scaling it through the blue axis, or the blue button here, and then we're gonna go to Translate and move it to the right slightly. Okay, so now just to visually see this in action, we have a bunch of cubes that that I've lined up to look like a building. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on File, Save Scene, and for now that's where we're going to stop off, and let me know if you guys have any questions, and yeah, okay, bye-bye.